everyone, Christina here. Welcome back, or if you're new here, hi. This is a fun channel to learn math, physics, or chem. We got all 3 videos, so just keep that in mind if you need help in other subjects. But we got a great question here, right? Or not even a question. What we're gonna do is we are gonna solve this system of equations by the substitution method. Okay, so we have a system of equations. Now, a system just means that you're grouping together 2 or more equations and having them act as like a unit pair, right? So in this case, these 2 equations are going to be known as the system. Now, these are linear lines because for your x's and for your y's, it's just 1, right? They're all raised to the first. But if you had x squareds and y squareds, then that's a totally different story. But we need to solve this system. Well, what does that really mean? That means that these 2 linear lines will intersect at some point. The solving of it is to find out what point they have in common. It's always the intersection point. So in this case, what we're doing when they say solve, right? All they're asking for is basically just to tell me, or, for you to find out, what the x and the y coordinate is, right? What's that point that satisfies both these equations? But now we got to do it via the substitution method, right? And the first step in the substitution method is you have to get one of these into being either an x equal or a y equal, because what you're going to do is you're going to take this equation, whichever one you set to, and plug it into the other one. Now, usually what I like to do is I like to scan to see if there's any x's or y's, just ones, because that's the chosen one. That's like the easiest way. But for these, they gave me 2x, they gave me 3's, they gave me 3's, and then they gave me 6. So, But the next easiest way, and keep in mind that there is no right or wrong x or y to pick. You could choose any of these 4 and just solve the equation to x equals or y equals. But, just for tips and tricks, always pick the equation that looks the simplest to you in which you can do your division. Now, in this case, maybe, I don't know, maybe this one looks good. Maybe 3's and 6 and 1.8's. The 3 and the 6 work well together because I could divide by 3. 1.8 and a 3, that doesn't really work, I don't think. Does it? 16? It does, right? Not 16, but 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. So this actually works. So I'm going to choose this one. So I'm going to say maybe this is equation 1 and maybe this is equation 2. So I'm going to take my equation 2 and I'm going to solve for whichever one I want. Now generally, always solve for the lower number. So between the 3x and the 6y, let's solve for that x. So we're going for x equals. So we're going to say negative 3x minus 6y equals 1.8. And maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll put it over here. Okay. So keep in mind we want to get x by itself, so I got to push the y value onto the other side. So let's plus 6y on both sides. This will cancel. And let's just rewrite whatever we got. So we got negative 3x equals 1.8 plus 6y. Let's now take the negative 3 and divide on both sides by the negative 3. And that's going to cancel this out. So we have x equals now. Now keep in mind if you have 2 independent parts and it's being divided by one number, it's the same thing as if you just break it up. So it's 1.8 divided by 3. Now, 6 divided by 3, that's going to be a minus, right? And actually, this one is going to be minus as well. So let's just throw that in there, right? Minus or negative 1.8 divided by 3 minus 6y divided by 3. Okay, so what do we get? We get x equals negative 1.8 divided by 3. That's going to be a negative 0.6 minus 6 divided by 3 is 2y. And now we have the first piece of the puzzle. So this is the most important part, because if you used equation, in this case equation 2, the next part you have to use the other equation. So since we used equation 2, I know that now I'm going to use equation 1. And the thing that we have to do here is, if I just write this out, negative 2x plus 3y equals 1.2, we just said what x equaled. Here's the x. So here's where the actual substitution comes in. You're going to take out that x and put in what the x actually equals in its place. But keep in mind, this 2 value is being times by the whole x. So we're just going to plug in the negative 0.6 minus the 2y. So let's go for it. Minus 2, or negative 2, times that whole thing. Negative 0.6, maybe I need a little more room, minus 2y. And then just keep going with the rest of the equation. So plus 3y equals 1.2. Now we just do a little bit distributing, right? So negative 2 times a negative 0.6, so that's going to be a positive. And 2 times 6 is 12, so this is going to be 1.2, because I have the decimal there. And then this will be plus 2 times 2 is 4. Then just keep going. Plus 3y equals 1.2. Let's group together like terms. So we got a 1.2 plus 7y equals 1.2. Right? Minus 1.2. Now I'm kind of like, this is interesting. But let's continue on, right? So this is going to get canceled. Let's put the line over here. And now we have 7y equals, this is just going to be 0. So if I divide by 7, y is going to equal 0. Okay. Now that means that I have my y value, right? We know now that the y is going to be a 0. Now the only thing that we have to do is now solve for the x. But we can use the y equal to 0 to our benefit. Now you can go back and use any one that you want. It does not matter which one you pick. For me, I guess I like 2's and 3's versus 3's and 6's. So I'm going to use equation 1 again. But this time, I'm going to plug in the 0 for the y and solve for the x. So we're going to say negative 2x plus 3 times, yeah, you got it, 0, right? That's the y value, and let that equal to 1.2. Now we just have the x to solve for. So let's go for it. Negative 2x, 3 times 0 is 0, so this is just going to equal 1.2. And now just divide by negative 2. And this cancels, and we have x equals 1.2 divided by a negative 2. That's a negative 0.6. And that is the x value. And I think we just solved it. What do you think? So this guy is negative 0.6. So if I had to write the system, right, or the ordered pair together, x comma y, negative 0.6 comma 0. So this is like an x-intercept. Yay! Okay? And that is the final answer. I don't like how. Oh no, now it's going to shift. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for viewing the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tell your friends, tell your classmates about this cool channel. Just gets the word out there that this channel exists. And let's keep working hard, okay? Good luck on your tests and quizzes, and I will talk to you in the next lesson. All right, bye-bye.